Even though our blood vessels are small, their network is surprisingly really long. In fact, if you were to lay them out in a line, they would measure more than 60,000 miles in length. The circumference of the Earth is 24,873.6 miles, which means your blood vessels could circle around the world more than twice. And it's important to make sure our circulation is top-notch so that we could get blood flow to every part of the body. In this video, we look at 7 best foods to help increase circulation, so stay with me till the end. Also, real quick before we get started, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and turn the bell on next to it to stay up to date with new weekly videos. The first on the list is pomegranates. Now, I've already made a video on pomegranates and what happens if you eat them for 14 days that I encourage you to watch after this one. The reason for pomegranates is because of their rich antioxidant profile, which helps open the blood vessels to allow more blood to flow through. It is also known for keeping the arteries from becoming stiff and thick. There's some potent flavonoids such as catechins, tannic acid, ellagic acid, which make them a stronger antioxidant than red wine and equal to or possibly even better than green tea. And because you get minerals like potassium and copper while being very low in sodium at the same time, it can help support healthy blood pressure. You even had a systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized control trials conclude that this evidence suggests it may be prudent to include this fruit juice in a heart-healthy diet. The amount you want to aim for is 43 to 330 milliliters of the pomegranate juice, which you can take daily. And you see the peels and flesh, don't just throw them away. They can be dried and ground into a fine powder to be consumed as a tea, since they are said to include even more Punicalagins, which are anti-inflammatory at the same time. The second is beets, and this is because beets are rich in nitrates, which are converted by the body into nitric oxide, which will then in turn help relax blood vessels and increase blood flow to muscle tissue once it leaves your stomach. Some people take beetroot powder, and if you do, know that it works best if you take it about 2 to 3 hours before athletic performance. It needs some time to get in your system because you're not going to take it and see instant results, because what it also does is increase oxygen delivery in your body as well. This is why athletes love it, because it reduces the cost of oxygen for low intensity exercises and enhances the tolerance to high intensity exercises. This study in the Journal of Applied Physiology did a good job in highlighting that, which showed people were able to ride exercise bikes for longer at high intensities just from using 500 milliliters of beetroot juice for 6 days. The third food is onions, and I've also made a separate video on onions and testosterone, as well as quercetin, which I recommend you to watch after this one. Now, onions, like pomegranates, have a long history of use in humans. Athletes in ancient Greece for purifying their blood. Roman gladiators used it to firm up their muscles, which is interesting because we use extracts of onion for scar prevention today. I'm curious if the gladiators used it for their scars and we only caught on that in recent years. Hippocrates, the Greek physician, even used onions for diuretic effects. But onions for circulation, we know it's likely because of the quercetin. Generally speaking, the yellower the onion, the better. You get around 28 to 48 milligrams of quercetin per 100 grams of onion, unless of course you have access to the Sarasara gold onion. These onions are special. They grow in and around the Kitami city in Hokkaido, Japan, which contain about 200 milligrams of quercetin and a half a pound of onion. And the proposed mechanisms we have is decreased oxidative stress, inhibition of ACE activity, improved endothelial function, direct action on the vascular smooth muscle, and/or modulation in cell signaling and gene expression. The fourth on our list is garlic, a close friend to onions since they belong to the Allium genus. Allium, in fact, is derived from the Greek word for garlic. You also have shallots, leeks, and chives belonging to the same family as well. But garlic contains one of the highest sources of allicin, which is studied for increasing tissue blood flow. And while cooking garlic has less allicin than raw garlic, allicin can become activated after chopping the garlic, so you can boost the active amount by waiting at least 10 minutes before you use it or cook it. And Siberian garlics are said to contain the highest amounts of them. Most of the garlic we use today are those soft neck ones that store longer, than the hardneck ones. And many people think of California as the garlic capital of the world, where in fact most of our garlic comes from China. Imported garlic sometimes has more of a metallic and bitter taste due to a lower concentration of allicin and a higher concentration of chemicals and heavy metals. So if you can, just to be on the safe side, get them organic and local. The fifth is cayenne pepper. This is because the capsaicin found in the cayenne pepper may promote blood flow by dilating blood vessels. Since it's thought to help improve circulation, it's often used by those who have cold hands and feet. It also is used in pain relieving creams because it decreases the activity of those nerve cells and reduces the sense of pain. Now, some find cayenne pepper in the diet easier to handle and digest than others do, so only use small cautious amounts that you can handle. Interestingly, on this note, in May of 2016, we had a study in nutrients that found that people who enjoy eating spicy foods like cayenne was linked to a lower rate of cardiovascular disease. And this is because the receptor for capsaicin is called the transient receptor potential vanilloid subtype 1 or TRPV1, and the results suggested that capsaicin and TRPV1 may be potential targets for the management of cardiometabolic vascular diseases and their related target organs dysfunction, which is pretty interesting, right? The sixth on our list is turmeric. That is because it contains curcumin. Now, if you follow me for a while, we've discussed turmeric and curcumin many times on this channel. Links to these videos will be in the description below. But how the compound curcumin does this is in 3 ways, which we found in a study in healthy middle-aged and older adults, that 12 weeks of curcumin supplementation improves resistance artery endothelial function by, number 1, increasing vascular nitric oxide bioavailability, 2, reducing oxidative stress, and 3, improving conduit artery endothelial function. And you can find a link to curcumin I use in my Thorn store, which I've linked down below. It's the most clinically studied curcumin on the market. It's a unique curcumin extract with significantly better absorption than most brands and provides superior relief in joint and muscle stiffness. There you can also shop my entire collection as well as my top 3 favorite supplements. And lastly, fatty fish like anchovies, herring, mackerel, black cod, salmon, and sardines. 2 servings of fish per week with a serving of 3 ounces cooked can give you a good amount of omega-3 fatty acids. Note that some people argue you need more than 2 servings a week, but essentially these fats promote the release of nitric oxide, which we mentioned earlier. It helps dilate your blood vessels and it also increases blood flow. But I'm actually more curious to learn from you guys. Do you know of any other solutions that work? Leave them in the comments below, and until then guys, I'll see you on the next one.